That's Sam Howell's highlight. I put it out on our Instagram page, Sports Junkies Radio. Give us a follow on Instagram in the story. At least they had a highlight. Mm-hmm. That was a nice run by Sam Howell. He had a couple of nice passes. Time for a Howell eval. You want me to lead off?
Whoever.
I guess I'll give him a D. They scored 15 points. He had a pick six again. He leads the league in pick sixes. Threw for what was the final number? 125 yards?
127.
127, yeah.
127 yards. Yeah, I'd give him a D.
His QBR was under 20. It's hard to give anybody on the offense better than an F, but it's just because I feel bad for him, and he did have the 2 rushing touchdowns, and he's just tough. He was the only highlight offensively. I'll give him a D. But the entire offense, that was the big failure yesterday.
I will give him a C- because, look, at the beginning of the season, I said, I don't care how you get your touchdowns, whether you rush for 30, throw for 30. If you get me a bunch of touchdowns, I'm going to give you high marks. And he has 23 touchdowns on the season. He's going to go over 30 if he stays healthy and plays the rest of the games total between rushing and receiving. C- between rushing and throwing.
I saw Rick Snyder actually gave him a B-. I'll give him a C. I thought he was under duress the entire game. He was sacked 3 times. He was hit 9. The pick 6, they clearly jumped that play. They knew it from the start. I was listening to Michael Phillips coming in, and he said he didn't want to go definitively on it, but he's pretty sure that their formation tipped off that play, and they just knew exactly what was coming. Now, it's still his fault for pulling the trigger, but he was just under duress the entire game. Wasn't a great game by him by any stretch, but he does fight. No. So I give him a C.
He fights.
I just tweeted out what I think is an interesting comparison. Now, I will say Sam Howell is better, and the rushing is part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But Sam Howell so far this year, 18 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, and 486 passes.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, Davis Mills also was second year, 17 touchdowns to 15 interceptions, and basically the same amount of passes, 479 passes.
Did he have 5 rushing touchdowns?
I don't know how many rushing
I'm
touchdowns.
going to guess he had 0 rushing touchdowns.
Probably.
Maybe 1.
Yeah.
I said that he's better, but the problem is that Sam Howell's in that range now.
I'm not over here stumping you that you just hand.
He's not that different.
That you hand the keys to Sam Howell for
Well, I'd
2024.
like to see him.
Like, if you're picking top 5 and there's a quarterback that you love, you have to pick him and then let them compete.
Let the best man win.
If Sam Howell beats him out, so
Right.
be it.
I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
But the rookie that they draft is going to have the same problems. Will be in the exact same boat if they don't fix the offensive line, if they don't have a superstar
Sure.
on offense, if they don't fix the defense. They'll be in the exact same boat. And, it's a shame, but it's just the way that works. But I'd love to see Sam behind a functioning offensive line. If you watch some of those plays where they pressure him or they sack him, they literally rush 4 guys.
Mm-hmm.
And they just run a simple stunt, and we have 5 offensive linemen, and we have a running back, and they can't figure it out.
Davis Mills had 2 rushing touchdowns. I start off by saying Sam Howell is better than Davis Mills. Sam Howell has a better passer rating than what Davis Mills had last year and a better QBR than what Davis Mills had last year. The problem is he's in that range. You look at what Jordan Love did last night, and Jordan Love has had a roller coaster of a season.
Topsy-turvy, yeah.
I mean, beginning of the season, great. Middle of the season, terrible. Last month, he's been really good. But overall, he's been better than Sam Howell. It's hard to know where Sam Howell's going to be. And I can see, I'm still on the fence. I can see an argument to be made. Build up the offensive line, draft Marvin Harrison Jr. Let's say they have a chance to get Marvin Harrison Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They're going to have, probably it's going to be Caleb Williams, Drake May, Marvin Harrison Jr. There's going to be top 3 picks. We don't know exactly how it's going to go. Those are probably the top 3 picks. They have a good chance to have the 3rd pick. Maybe the 4th pick. Arizona winning yesterday helps the Commanders' draft potential as long as they don't win another game. If they win another game, then who knows? There's a bunch of teams with 4 wins. But there's an argument to be made. Build up the offensive line. Let Sam Howell develop if you believe Sam Howell is going to get better. But you could also just say, and the Texans could have had the same kind of thing. Like, we kind of like some stuff about Davis Mills. He can make all the throws.
But this guy's better coming out.
Exactly.
Right. This guy's more upside.
And that's why I bring up Davis Mills. It's not that I'm saying Davis Mills is better than Sam Howell. It's that Houston was in that same type of situation where they had a young quarterback who they like some things about, who can make a lot of throws, but they decided we need to be better.
Look, the next GM might walk in and say, you know what? I just don't like Sam Howell. He might just look at the tape and say, you know what, this is not my guy going forward.
I think
And
that's the likely scenario.
that's possible.
Because Mike Jones, who's a very respected reporter, came on the show a few weeks ago. He's now with The Athletic. And he said he's talked to, and he got a lot of backlash on Twitter from all the Howlers. But he said he's talked to a bunch of personnel people in the league, GMs, scouts, and they all say that Sam Howell is going to be up and down, and he can be a guy. He can be a starter in the league, but not special.
We just don't know who's going to be making the calls and what their motivation is. And like you said, they might want if they're drafted in the top 7, Williams and May go, but it doesn't mean they're not looking at somebody else. It's not like Williams and May are going to be the only quarterbacks drafted in the first round.
Who are the other first round? You always hear about Penix.
Well,
Who's the other one?
Daniels and Bo
Penix
Nix
is
could
like
go.
a second round
Daniels, the
grade.
guy in LSU.
Yeah, they'll probably go first round. I mean, look at how many bad quarterbacks you see across the league every Sunday.
Penix.
You see bad quarterbacks.
Yes.
The majority of them are bad.
You see plenty of them.
So these teams that are drafted in the top 12, 15, they're going to be desperate and they're going to take shots.
I'll just say this. Even if they get the first pick or whatever it is and they draft Caleb Williams, he is going to have the same ups and downs. Not to say not to do it, but if they don't protect him, he's going to be in the same boat.
Probably. Look, here's the thing, and this is why I bet that Sam Howell is going to struggle this year. Most young quarterbacks struggle. C.J. Stroud is the outlier. Justin Herbert, that was an outlier. Like when he came in and was just fantastic from the get-go. We saw this with Trevor Lawrence, and we see it with Bryce Young right now, and who knows, maybe he's going to be a bust. But most young quarterbacks struggle in the league.
All right, so people want to chime in here. They want to give their Hal eval. Let's go to William on line 3, Upper Marlboro. William, what's up? William, are you there? Go to Jay, line 7. Jay. Hey, buddy.
What's up, Jay?
Jay.
Hey, good morning, guys.
What's up?
Hey,
What's up,
man.
Jay?
Hey, so he might not have heard you because you know how it normally does the chime thing in your ear when you click on. It didn't do that for mine.
That's fine. Go ahead.
All right. So, as far as Howell is concerned, man, I give him. I'm gonna give him a C minus yesterday because he's always under duress, but he always fights and he makes accurate throws out of the pocket, off script. His throws, I feel better for him out of the pocket than I do with him in the pocket.
Yeah, he's been great
Because it's
out of the pocket.
Exactly. But he's also uninspiring. And you know what? It's all because of Ron. When things happen, you know how Howell looks? Just like Ron Rivera. Like his face is just like so dead. I'm like, be happy, say something. And that is the problem with our team, man. It's Ron, and it's been like that. But even when we had, back in the day, when we had Joe Gibbs was a character guy. He was a nice guy. But we had Richard Pettibone and stuff like that. Our team does not fight for one another. If you watch the Eagles and the 49ers yesterday, that Trent Williams effect, that makes everybody a fighter, and that's what we don't have. And
I'll just say this about demeanor. I wouldn't read anything into
Thanks, Jay.
how Howell looks on the sideline. A lot was made of Jalen Hurts 2 weeks ago when they hit that 59-yard field goal to push the game to overtime. He was emotionless. And people are like, why isn't he screaming up and down, And some guys are just like that. Like they're more stoic. And that doesn't mean they're not a great player because Jalen Hurts is a great player. And in that game, he won them the game.
Yeah.
He's that way after the games, too,
That's
also.
the way he always
I just think
is.
that Sam's frustrated. He, especially after he makes a bad play, like he threw the pick 6. You could see it in his face. He wasn't happy. I mean, he's not throwing F-bombs out there on the sidelines, but, he's not happy.
just how
and
he's wired.
That's just the way he is.